What's good, my peeps? The Ruckus here again with another action figure review, this time courtesy of Hasbro Marvel Legends. What we have here are the pieces to the collector. We've been reviewing the 7 figures that were in this wave, the collector Build-A-Figure wave. We've gone through them all, and here we are. We finally landed at ground zero. We've accumulated all of the pieces necessary to build Mr. Basil Sandhurst, aka the collector, and we will now proceed to do so. But first, let's go over what piece came with what figure. The torso came with Speedball. The right hand and additional fist came with, or right arm and additional fist came with the U.S. Agent. The left arm and additional fist came with Quake. The right foot or leg, I should call it, came with Madam Hydra, and the left foot / leg came with Adam Brashear, aka Blue Marvel, and the head came with Thor. So now that we've got that done, let's kick this off. And as always, since it is the center spot of the figure, any figure, we will start with the torso. And I like to start with the legs, so we'll start with the left leg and push that in. It's popped in very nicely. Time for that right leg. See what happens with that. If that'll pop in just as easily and just as flush, it did. So that's cool right there. And now we'll go with the left arm. See how that goes in? That snapped in very nicely. Then, of course, the right arm. Here we go. Make sure I'm on camera. Oh, that one must be a problem, child. It eased in. Yeah, it eased in. So that's the way that goes down. And then finally, last but not least, the head of the controller, which, by the way, is on a dumbbell. So keep that in mind. See how well that snaps in? It eased in. So let me zoom out a little bit so we can see this guy. I'm gonna have to raise us up a little bit, it looks like. So let me do that. Get us up some so he can be fully in frame there. We build it as we fly it, y'all. You already know what time it is. Try to get his feet to be at least somewhat flush. And yeah, so there we go. That's the controller completely built. And yeah, this is an Iron Man foe. He's been seen recently in Iron Man during a Korvac storyline, and yeah, so let's see what's up with our guy here, as we're going to put him on the rotating base so we can get a 360-degree view of him. So here we have Mr. Basil Sandhurst, aka the controller, on our rotating platter, giving you a 360-degree visual of the figure. And at first glance, if you couldn't tell already, you should be able to see by now, this is a very credible reuse of the Thanos Build-A-Figure or the Thanos Deluxe set that came out, was it last year? It was either last year or it was in 2020. Recently, just go with that. And can't fault Hasbro because the similarities between their costumes are striking. So it made sense to reuse that buck. There's not many other characters they can use the buck for, and the controller was tailor-made because of how similar their costumes are. Here's a fun fact and something that's just crazy. The controller worked for Thanos way back in the day, during a storyline that involved that was based in Captain Marvel's Captain Marvel, the male Captain Marvel, his storyline back in the 70s. Yeah, so he had this particular costume. He actually worked for Thanos, so that's something that's crazy. And yeah, they, and then here we have the controller in the figure form and using Thanos's body mold. So anyhow, let's get him off the platter so we can take a closer look at the controller, aka Basil Sandhurst. So here we have the controller up close and personal. So we will begin with that face, that head sculpt. Basil Sandhurst actually was in an accident, and his face got very, very scarred up. That's why you see all the lines in his face. He's not like a extraterrestrial or something like that, or a mutation. He's just a scarred up human being. In fact, the as a result of the accident he was in, he was basically impaired, for all intents and purposes crippled, which is what led to the creation of this costume, which enabled him to move and to become stronger, more powerful whenever he would apply what he called his control discs, which I'll show you one in a hot minute, because the arm that came out of packaging attached, the hand that came out of packaging attached to the arm actually has a control disc. It would be in his right hand, but we'll get to that momentarily. Taking a look, we're going to take a closer look at that head sculpt, simply because of the uniqueness of it. So here we are with a nice close-up look at the controller's face. It was done nice. You got all the nice line work, the teeth showing through the lips there, pupilless eyes. You've got the blue metallic helmet. My helmet has some QC issues. I'll see if I can show that to you. Look there at the top there. That's unfortunate. That's going to bother me a little bit. What can I say? Other than that, I mean, it's still pretty nice. There's nothing wrong with it. Fortunately, I don't have the marbling effect up there, so there is that. Going down, we have the you guys remember this piece that was part of Thanos. With the Build-A-Figure, it was a clip-on piece, and every time you moved an arm, this would pop out. When they came out with the deluxe set, it was affixed to the upper torso, so that problem was alleviated. But you see, it's that metallic blue. I'm looking at mine to see if I've got any marbleization, and it looks like I have some swirls, but not enough to crazy notice. Looks pretty nice, if I say so myself. The blue is great. Same thing there on the back. And then after that, looking at the torso, you see we've got two shades there. The pecs are this like sky blue, and that sky blue travels on to the shoulders and the biceps, you see right there. Then when you get to the triceps, it becomes like a light purplish blue, and that sky blue is also on the back there. And then of course it gets to that purple again. His gauntlets are molded in that purplish blue, and they look pretty nice, both sides. And now here's what I'm talking about as I turn the controller's hand so you can see it. Those are his control discs. What he would do is he would affix those to his victims' heads, and they would go into a zombie-like state, and then he would actually draw psychic energy from them, and it would empower his exoskeletal suit here, and he would get stronger. I believe, according to his statistics, it stated that he can increase his strength up to and including the 50-ton range. Now keep in mind that those numbers are just so we can have something to quantify. Like they consider the Hulk beyond class 100. We all know the Hulk can lift well over 100 tons, but that gives us a basis, of emphasis. We've seen the Hulk lift thousands of tons. Hell, in Secret Wars, he held, what was it? I can't remember the exact number, but it was billion. I believe it was I want to say 5 billion, 50 billion tons on his back, keeping everybody that was a part of that adventure alive. So yeah, you know, the thing held down a 10,000 ton starship, kept that from taking off into space. And we know the thing isn't as strong as the Hulk, and you have that. So 50 tons, that's relative. That just gives you a baseline. So enough of the stat lesson. Going back down, his torso has got that light purplish color, and then of course his belt area and crotch are molded in that blue plastic. You see that right there. Going down the legs, it's a toss up between the light purple and the sky blue. I guess you consider the sky blue as the wash, and because the majority of it is that light purple. And then of course you've got the purple boots, the metallic blue, purplish blue boots, and I do have some marbling on the boots. Once again, not too much noticeable. And then on the back, same thing, nothing really changes there. You see that right there, so that's cool. So as far as our articulation with the controller, I had shown you that his head is on a dumbbell. He can look up that far, look down that far. You got some decent, more than decent attitude left and right there. And of course he can 360 it. As far as his shoulders, he can get them out to about 90, just about 90. He can swivel 360, but of course his upper piece there, collar piece, is going to force you to bevel out some. He's got the he's got the swiveling bicep and single jointed elbow, which doesn't have much range at all. This is all you get from the single jointed elbow. It's kind of be expected with the larger figures that they have single jointed elbows. So as a result, that means no pins. So there is that. Of course, he's got the swivel at the wrist and the horizontal hinge. That is duplicated on his right side, and with the fists that are interchangeable. As far as his torso is concerned, he's got an ab crunch. You heard the click. He can go forward that far. He can go back that far. And he's got waist articulation. It's expertly covered up, hidden by his belt. He can do the splits. Not bad for a big guy. He can lift his leg forward almost 90 and get it back that far. It pushes out a little when you do so, though. He does have the thigh cut, obviously where we connected the leg at. Double jointed, peak the game. Pinless knees. You love that. And then he doesn't have boot rotation, but he does have toe articulation. He can point his toe forward that far, up that far, and of course he's got the ankle pivot. And you know what time it is, even with the baths. Peg holes at the bottom of his feet. Here's Mr. Sandhurst with his interchangeable fists. I tell you, it's always a joy when we can get extras with our Build-A-Figures, and we got a set of closed-fisted hands with this one, which is good because he is a brawler, so it just makes sense. Here's a shot of the controller trying to affix one of his control discs onto our guy Spidey. And here's the controller next to one of the three Thanos that we've received. Comic Thanos, I should say, to clarify. This was the Walmart exclusive Thanos, which was taken from the previous Build-A-Figure from the Avengers wave at that time. So you can see the similarities with the costumes. I mean, they managed to retool greatly, but the collar piece is what sets it off, is what you know right away, the similarities between the controller and Thanos's costumes. And so here we have the group shot, the entire wave, including the Build-A-Figure, the collector. We've got from our left to our right, we've got Iron Man Model 70, Thor, Herald / Allfather Thor, Quake, The Collector in the center, Madam Hydra, U.S. Agent. Behind him, we've got Speedball, and bringing up the rear, last but never least, to our far right, Dr. Adam Brashear, aka the Blue Marvel. An excellent wave. I really enjoyed this wave. Got new characters and new iterations of old characters. We've gotten some updates needed, and yeah, this really hit. It ticked off a lot of the boxes. Pretty cool. It was very, very difficult trying to rate what I liked, which figures I liked the most to the least in this wave. I don't include the Build-A-Figure because they should be the quote-unquote best, even though that's not always the case. But I just leave them out anyway because, you know, they are the Build-A-Figures. Anyway, going from least to best, bringing up the rear for me is the very last figure that I reviewed, and that would be the U.S. Agent. A decent update to the previous one, but I still think that he should have been on a larger buck, minimum the 80th anniversary Captain America buck. So yeah, then after him or before him, we'll call it number 6, Madam Hydra. Another decent update to our previous and much better, but that's not saying much at all. She's on the old school female buck, which leaves a whole lot to be desired. I love her belt and holster harness. That's very nice. Her weapons, molded in the flat black, but had the very nice paint apps on the handles, on the hilts, the grips, the pistol grips. Very nice there. They gave a nice wash to her hair, green with black, whereas the previous was actually black with green highlights, so they actually flipped it. So yeah, at number 6 is Madam Hydra. At number 5 is Speedball. Speedball just came as is a welcome addition. I guess it's closer to completing our new Warriors, but he had no accessories at all. What you see there are third-party effects, courtesy of my man Can of Beams. Got to do those third-party accessories, guys, I'm telling you. And so he's coming in at number 5. At number 4, here's where it starts to get harder with the top 4. Number 4, I had to keep it a stack as much as I wanted him to be higher. Dr. Brashear, the Blue Marvel, put him in there. I also think that he should have been a little bit bigger than he is, even though I enjoy the design and the face sculpt. He's missing his white/gray temples, so that was a faux pas on Hasbro's part right there, but still in all, very nice figure. Our top 3, coming in at 3, is Daisy Johnson, aka Quake, where you could also convert her to Maria Hill and use that buck if you've got spare heads that fit on her ball joint. You can make female shield agents. That's pretty cool. She came with, like I said, an additional head, Maria Hill, a weapon from Maria Hill, a firearm, and 2 additional sets of hands. So that's pretty cool, including 2 gripping hands for either side, so you can make Maria ambidextrous or whomever you utilize as a shield agent. So that's pretty cool right there. The effect you see my Quake with is once again courtesy of Can of Beams. It's a shockwave effect, and it definitely makes the figure stand out. Coming in at number 2, silver medal, is the All-Father himself, the Herald of Galactus. We've got the mighty Thor. Very nice, how can I say, a very nice view, current view of Thor, how he appeared in that Galactus storyline where he became the Herald of Galactus. The translucent hammer and the lightning effects, his whited out eyes. This is actually more or less how he appears nowadays in the comics, with the exception of his arms don't have the armor, and of course he would not have that particular head sculpt, his cosmic head sculpt, we'll call it, with the headband. He would have his more iconic look with the helmet And one thing I did find out is you could put a helmet on, or rather that classic type of head on, and you can fudge it, even though it still wouldn't be accurate because of, once again, the arms with the armor. And of course, coming in at number 1, we've got Iron Man Model 70. This is his modern take on the armor. Just looks great. It's got the size. It could have been better if they would have used a more metallic, well, everything, the gold and the red, but there's no getting beyond the design. Came with some decent accessories. So yeah, that's it. And then of course you've got Mr. Basil Sandhurst himself, the collector, as the Build-A-Figure. Came with 2 closed-fisted hands in addition to himself, which is always welcome when it comes to a Build-A-Figure, when you get extra pieces. So that'll do it. That is our collector Build-A-Figure wave from Hasbro Marvel Legends. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Let me know what your best to worst are, and whatever other comments you may have, criticisms, questions, or concerns down below in the comments. If you want to be notified the next time I upload a video, hit that bell, smash that bell, and you will be so notified. And like I said, subscribe to the channel. This is how it goes down here. Also, there's a link in my description below to Chaotic Entertainment and Toy Shop. If there are anything you're looking for, you can find it there. I actually have a case of this wave left. So, you know, go there if you're interested, or for anything else you may, you know, want to check out, tickle your fancy. Anyway, enough of the hard sell. It's time for me to get up out of here, y'all. This is the Ruckus, Big Ruck. The Ruckness Monster humming, coming at you, leaving you with this. Remember, the hunt continues, and I'm out. Peace.